What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, and I have some sad news to pass along to you all, and that is that Cindy Williams, co-star of Laverne and Shirley, one of the top sitcoms in its heyday, has passed away at the age of 75. And on that show, Cindy Williams played Shirley Feeney, who worked with Laverne DeFazio, who was played by the late Penny Marshall. There were two young single women working at a Milwaukee brewery in the 1950s. Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff of the hugely popular show from the 70s and 80s as well, Happy Days. And as a matter of fact, Mork and Mindy, if I'm not mistaken, was a spinoff of Happy Days. So, the 70s was the prime era for spinoffs. And back then, a lot of spinoffs performed well, did well. A lot of times, spinoffs just don't quite work. The characters aren't interesting, but there's been a lot of spinoffs, especially back then, that actually were hit shows in their own, whether you're talking about Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, whether you're talking about the Jeffersons, Maude, Good Times, which was a spinoff of Maude. So, but anyway, for several years, Laverne and Shirley was amongst the highest rated shows in the country. Miss Williams appeared in more than 150 episodes, but left in the 8th and final season after considerable on-set tension between her and Miss Marshall. Now, Penny Marshall would go on to become a prolific director in Hollywood until her death back in 2018. She passed away also at the age of 75. If you're not familiar with who these two women are, Cindy Williams is the one on the right, and Penny Marshall is the one on the left. Before Miss Williams debuted in the role that would most define her career, she was cast in the George Lucas film American Graffiti, released in 1973. For her portrayal of Laurie in the film, she earned a nomination for Best Supporting Actress from the British Academy Film Awards. The next year, she was in the Francis Ford Coppola film, The Conversation. Both American Graffiti and The Conversation garnered Best Picture nominations at the Academy Awards. Miss Williams also auditioned for the role of Princess Leia in the Star Wars franchise, a part that eventually went to the late Carrie Fisher. Later on in her career, Miss Williams was a guest star on well-known television shows such as Law and Order, SVU, and Seventh Heaven, and she earned several stage credits, including the Broadway production of The Drowsy Chaperone, in which she briefly played Mrs. Tottendale. But she was born back in 1947 in Van Nuys, California. She became interested in acting during high school and attended Los Angeles City College. And to support herself while she was trying to be an actress, she worked at a pancake house. And early on in her career, she filmed various commercials for deodorants and sunglasses. But it was, in the early 1970s that her career began to take some steps when she was hired to be in American Graffiti and The Conversation. And ultimately, she spent 8 years as Shirley and Laverne and Shirley after the characters first appeared on Happy Days. But anyway, Cindy Williams passed away at the age of 75.